Greetings, Reg here, and welcome back to the blog. I am continuing with day 41 of my 60-day raw food challenge, and things are still coming along smoothly. Those of you out there who are doing raw food and finding it to be a challenge the same way that I've been finding it to be a challenge, being someone who lives in an urban area, I just want to say, more power to you, because it's not the easiest thing in the world to do, and it does really require a lot of thought and shopping around trying to get the best deals on fresh fruits and vegetables. I'm really lucky, and I live where there is at least once a week for most of the year a fresh farmer's market. It's actually an urban farm, the Red Hook Farm, and yesterday I got my hands on some amazing fresh collard greens. And so today I'm going to be showing you a smoothie that was inspired by Carolyn Carter, who you guys may remember from the Urban and Small Food Farm Conference in Milwaukee. Now, Carolyn is a certified raw food chef, and she actually has a show on Milwaukee Public Television, and you can find her show. It's called Cooking Raw, and it's on under local shows on mptv.org. So visit mptv.org and find the show Cooking Raw, and it's Carolyn Carter, and she's amazing. And she let me taste a collard green smoothie that she made, and so I'm going to be basing my recipe on hers, although it's not her exact recipe. I also want to share with you, I watched some of her videos, and she had a recipe for a massaged kale salad, and it looked really good, and so I tried it out, and what she recommended was going ahead and massaging the kale with whatever dressing you're going to use, and letting it sit for 2 to 24 hours. Now, I'm not sure if she meant 24, she may have meant 12, but I went ahead and let this sit at least overnight, and it looks amazing. I don't know if you can see that, but I also prepared that with a little corn, as you can see, and it's really delicious. The texture is so smooth, and it's really good. And I have to say, it kind of tastes like something that's been cooked, but it's not. It's a raw dish, and it's gotten there without dehydration, but just by kind of sitting out on the counter after being massaged by hand. So definitely something that if you haven't tried massaged kale, you can also do the same thing with any of those greens that are kind of hard to chew, hard to break down. Massaging them and then just letting them sit out is a great way to prepare them. Now, back to our smoothie. I'm going to show you our basic ingredients. We're going to be using, as I said before, we're going to be using fresh local collard greens that I got at the Red Hook Farm. We're also going to be using some banana. We're going to be using pineapple, and pineapple I think is kind of the star of the show. And we're also going to be using some orange juice, just a cup of that, as well as some ice. Okay? Now, the issue that I've had in the past with using collard greens is they tend to have a little bit of a spicy, bitter aftertaste, one that I don't really like so much. But I like the basic flavor of collard greens. I just don't like that it has that spicy, bitter aftertaste. And so what I found is that the pineapple, something about the either acidity or something about the pineapple just really masks the flavor in a way that just using orange juice or even using mango or even using lemon hasn't really done for me. So mango really solves that. So we're using a very local produce and a produce that is not at all local. Let me go ahead and set up my high-powered blender. And if you are going to be making smoothies, as I've said many, many times, you're probably going to want to use a high-powered blender because it's going to be able to, because it works on horsepower. This is a 2-horsepower blender here. I'm going to start by adding my ice cubes. I have 8 of them, and they've started to melt a little, but that wasn't necessary. They've just because we're sitting under lights. So starting with ice cubes. I always put my ice cubes in first so that they're the first thing that get broken down by the blades. Okay? Next, I'm adding 1 cup of fresh squeezed orange juice. Okay. Now, it's an option adding the liquid before you add your fruits and vegetables, or adding the liquid last. It doesn't really matter, I've found, because the liquid finds a way of running through the ingredients and getting down to the bottom anyway. Recap: ice cubes, about 8 ice cubes in this, and I have 1 cup of fresh squeezed orange juice. And now, the next thing I'm going to add to the mix is I'm going to add my banana. Again, banana is not something that you can find locally grown if you live in the Northeast, but I haven't been able to find an alternative for the kind of carbs that I'm trying to add to my diet. So I've just added 1 banana, and I have 3 bananas already broken up. So it's a total of 4 bananas that I'm adding to this smoothie. My guess is this is going to make probably 3 servings, and I'm going to be having all 3 of those. So if you think I was saving some for you guys, I'm sorry. Although if you called me and wanted to come over and have a smoothie, I'd make you some too. All right, next ingredient we're adding 2 cups of chopped pineapple. All right, so I'm adding that next on top of the bananas. And then the last thing that I'm going to add is are the collard greens. I always add my leafy greens last, and I've already chopped up, I just basically, what I've done is with collard greens, they have this big heavy stem, and I'm not interested in having all of that stem, so I just use a knife and I just cut away the stem, right, which is easy to pull off. And if you have a juicer, you can juice the stems. Otherwise, you're going to want to add them to a compost if you're doing composting. If you're lucky, like we do in Red Hook, we have a composting program that happens on the farm, okay? So then you're left with a leaf like this, and I just fold it in half and, just cut into it. So I'm adding a total of about 6 leaves, the size that I just showed you, and some of them were slightly larger. All right? And so that's all of our ingredients in, and so I keep it low to start out with and get things just kind of started. And then this, I'm going to be for real, I will usually just lick this clean, but I have company, so I'm not going to do that today because y'all are watching. Anyway, then once I get it all blended, I turn it up. And I try not to blend it for more than, 10 to 15 seconds. I've heard that it starts to break down the nutrients. Whatever. You hear so many different things, right? But so, just to play it on the safe side, I try not to blend it too long. Blending it too long, also, it starts to heat up a little bit, and I like my smoothie cold. I'm going to pour this out for you to see how just great and rich and creamy that is, and really is right now. It's my favorite smoothie, and it's so good. It's so good. I'm telling you, you make this, you'll probably want to drink it every day. It's a really, really great smoothie, and please do try it, and do check out Carolyn Carter. You can check her out on Facebook at Caroline's Raw Food World. Caroline's Raw Food World. I'll put the information down there. Or you can also check out some of her cooking demonstrations on Milwaukee Public Television. That's mptv.org. Look under local shows, and the show is Cooking Raw. Thank you guys for joining me again on day 41 of my 60-day raw food challenge. Peace.